I am Neil Larthos. I am the next Abdullah. You are the next Neville Goddard. Your SP gets wet every single time they think of you, and your bank account makes Jeff Bezos look homeless. You are your specific person's God. Okay? In this video, I'm going to give you all you need to know about manifesting a specific person and why it's more about you and less about them. You are God, okay? And what that means is, no, you did not create the heavens and the earth. No, you did not create women out of the rib cage of man. But what it means is everything that you see here in your 3D is your creation. You can look at all your shitty circumstances, all the women who ghosted you, and you can just pet it like, oh, my cute little creation. Okay? It's all your fault. As a matter of fact, I think that is a perfect name for a video that we can do. It's all your fault, right? But just like you manifested negative things, it's the same way that you can manifest positive things. Now, how did you manifest negative things? Let's say you're on this video right now and you're trying to attract your ex. One of the most common ways that we attract a breakup is by stalking their social media, thinking that because they didn't respond to my message at 10 o'clock, yet they were browsing Facebook Messenger at midnight, that means that they are cheating on me, when in reality, they were just texting their sister who's overseas. But because you imagined the scenario of your heartbeat beating when you caught her cheating on you and you saw the DMs of another guy and they were both exchanging nudes, guess what happened 6 months later? You guys break up and she is cheating on you with your best friend. Look, whatever you put in your subconscious, when you impress it with something strong enough, it will manifest. 100%. It has an undefeated record of manifesting things when it is impressed with something really, really strong and it doesn't get unchecked. Now, obviously, that does not mean that every thought that you have will be manifested. If you have a fleeting thought like, oh, what if I get stabbed in a dark alley? Oh, shit. Oh, no, it's too late. And then you walk down the street and now you're afraid that you're going to get shanked, right? That's not the way it works, right? Now, if you believed that that would happen and you left that unchecked, then there's a good chance that it could happen, right? But you see, when you were browsing Facebook Messenger and you saw that she was online at midnight, 2 hours after she, left you undelivered, right? You not only imagined the what ifs she's cheating on you, there is a strong assumption, most likely, that you have that you are not good enough, right? That you are probably a person who could get cheated on, and it wouldn't be surprising if you got cheated on. And if that is an assumption that you have, even if you check that thought, right? Because it is an assumption, I've always said, your assumptions are the most powerful thing, the most powerful component to your manifestations. You can have the best affirmations, you can have the best imaginal acts, but if you have an assumption, especially one that has been there for a long, long time, that is ultimately the security guard that will have the final say. It's like in Congress, like you can have everybody fucking want to pass the bill, right? But if Congress doesn't want to accept it, it's not going to go through. And your fucking assumptions are Congress, okay? And I don't even know if I said that shit right. I'm not very political, as you guys can tell, but that's the way it is, right? Or it's like the CEO. It's like everybody can agree on an idea, but if the head honcho doesn't agree with it, sorry, it's not going to go through. Your assumptions are your head honcho, right? Okay? No matter how much you imagine, because your assumptions are basically what the Bible talks about faith. When the Bible talks about you need to have faith, it's saying you need to have the assumptions that it is true. That's why he says that when you pray and believe that you already happened, that you already have it. In other words, when you pray and assume that it's already on its way, right? So you have to understand who you are, okay? You are God, okay? I've had women who I've attracted, who I've manifested, that most guys, whether it was at work or whether it was at school, they were talking about her like if she was this goddess, right? But because in the beginning I was so detached from her, and because I've always had this high self-concept of myself when it came to my ability to get women, I'm not gonna lie, I still to this day will struggle with some self-concept issues the longer the relationships go. I'm not gonna be that guy to just tell you that everything's perfect. But when it came to attracting women, because I always felt like I have the best personality in the world, and because I have a little bit of narcissism in me, I've had such a strong confidence that self-concept was enough to definitely get me to step one with these women, right? And I didn't have to even do an imaginal act, because my assumptions were I'm that guy. I would just tell myself I wanted a girl, and then whether it happened in 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 1 year, that girl eventually came. And I mean, I have the success stories all over my channel, right? Now, when it comes to attracting an ex or attracting the hot girl at Walgreens, right? You only go in there for gum, but really in reality, you just want to see her. You need to stop putting that SP on a fucking pedestal. You are the fucking SP, okay? You are the specific person, all right? You need to stop telling yourself that I want to manifest my SP, and instead you need to tell yourself, I want to manifest a version of myself that it's natural that I have this SP. I want to manifest a version of myself that doesn't give a fuck either way. Okay, and when you change it from that to, you know, I'm that guy who doesn't give a fuck. I'm the version of myself who attracts even girls 10 times hotter than that SP. You change it from all of it being about them to all of it being about you. Okay, I remember, like in my success story where I talked about when I got an infinity gauntlet of SPs, right? I was going through a sex drought, okay? I was getting no pussy, okay? And I was like, what the fuck? I was so involved with starting this channel that I was like, shit, I kind of need to wet my whistle. And that is when I created self-pedestalization, right? I always did affirmations, but I guess it was a mixture of me being hyped about this channel and wanting to experiment, and then falling in love with the power of I Am. That channel I strongly have been influenced by, as you can fucking tell. And I told myself that, you know what, I'm just gonna go all in. And I started telling myself things like, my SP is like a flower in my garden, but I'm the fucking sun. All my SPs, plural, are satellites in my solar system, but I'm fucking gravity. And you see, obviously this didn't send me to a fucking NASA mission trip in outer space. Obviously, I did not reincarnate into a hot, flaming, gigantic planet star, okay? My subconscious knew what I was doing, okay? And this is why I say it's not so much about how you do it, it's about the implication, right? My subconscious knew that when I was saying things like this, I was putting myself on the pedestal. I was saying that I am SP's God, that they need me more than food, water, and fucking air, okay? I was telling myself things that my SPs have life-size posters of myself on their wall that they pray and bow down to every single night. I remember a few months ago, there was a female coworker of mine who, she knew about my past. She knew I was a player, right? As a matter of fact, I think I even hooked up with one of her friends. And I remember saying, you know, she would be the perfect fucking experiment to try this shit on. She would be the perfect guinea pig to really test my techniques out. When I was starting this channel, I just kind of got out of that hookup with her friend, right? So I knew, even though I told her not to tell anybody, let's just say like the whole world ended up finding out, right? So, and I'm guaranteeing you this was her best friend. She probably knows too, right? Well, when I just started this channel, she was very, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. She kind of gave me like a disgusted type of energy, where she was like, she didn't even want to be around me, right? And we never would talk, right? But I always found her actually more attractive than her friend. But she started to work there after her friend and I hooked up, right? So, and I remember saying like, this would be a very interesting subject, because if I can manifest her, then holy shit, this shit is really fucking strong, right? I started saying affirmations like this about her, except with her, I would rampage, right? I think with her, that's the one, this is when I created the one of, she has a life-size poster of me that she prays and bows down to every single night. And it even got to the point where I started saying things like, because at first I was saying affirmations of her being in love with me, but this is another thing, and I know I'm going on a tangent here, but this is another thing. If you guys are trying to manifest a relationship with somebody, but you really could give two shits, in reality, all you want to do is fuck them, okay? All you want to do is suck on their tits. I'm sorry, guys, but it is a lot faster to manifest a hookup with this person as opposed to them falling in love, because it takes, scientifically proven, at least 2 months for a woman to fall in love with a guy when you guys are actually dating consistently, as opposed to her being sexually attracted to you, because attraction is instant. Attraction is not even a choice sometimes, right? You guys could be working on a project together after months of you guys not talking to each other, after months of her hating you, and then she just sees you in a different light. Next thing you know, you guys are stuck in an elevator. Next thing you know, you guys are stuck in each other's holes. Okay? How many times does our wife cheat on us with the guy at the office just because they had to stay in a couple of late hours together because they had no other choice? They were forced to, right? They didn't ask for it. It just happened. How many times did they just say, it just happened? Well, it can just happen with this person, right? So I started changing from her being in love with me, her wanting to have my fucking children, to I even started saying stuff like, no, you know what? She's not in love with me. I mean, she doesn't want to have my children. She doesn't want to marry me, but she is sexually attracted to guys who she hates. She loves having sex with guys that her friends hook up with because it's scandalous. I started speaking to the point where instead of making it about a relationship, I made it more realistic. I have a video where I say I stopped struggling with manifesting my SP when I understood this, or something like that. And the thumbnail, it's when I'm wearing a green shirt and the green cap, and the thumbnail says 99% of coaches do not know this. And in that video, I talk about how a lot of us make our manifestations more difficult than they need to be when we are thinking of an end that we might not even want. If you want a relationship with this person, great, but if all you want is intimacy, do you realize that you can actually manifest them sooner when you just imagine that you guys are in the hookup phase? And with this girl, it's very interesting because, like I said, she probably had a bad image of me when she first saw me, because she already knew about my past before she even started working there. And I told myself, wait a second, why do I have to even manifest that she's in love with me in the first place? Why not just make it into this situation where she's kind of kinky, where she's kind of weird, and there's a part of her that is actually excited to have sex with me because her friend hates me, and it's scandalous, right? That is one way that you can approach it. And to continue this story, I'm in a relationship with someone right now, and because I impressed my subconscious so many times with these affirmations with her, and I did the most craziest, outrageous visuals with this chick, to the point where I don't even think I can even speak on this. I'll get demonetized like tenfold on here. But now she is making the most weirdest excuses to talk with me. You know, even like the other day, she went up to me with one of the coworkers and asked me while I was on lunch break, okay, hey, are you really 30 years old? No, I'm sorry, her friend asked that, right, the coworker. But she went up with her friend to bother me while I'm eating with my fucking enchiladas draining down my mouth, and they didn't give a fuck. They couldn't even wait. They couldn't even wait for my 15 fucking minutes of my break to end just to ask me this. And when her friend says, "You're really 30?" and I'm like, "Yes," that's when my SP goes, "See, I told you." And then they fucking skip away, all fucking girly and goofy, right? And then she says things like, you know, she'll ask me for gum, and I'm like, "How did you know that I had gum?" And she's like, "Oh, I know you always put it in your back pocket." And I'm thinking to myself, how you're too busy looking at my ass instead of focusing on taking the orders? Like, how the hell how did you know that? You know? And again, anyone who thinks negative could be saying, "No, I mean, you're overthinking it, Neo. That's not the way it is." But think about it. When you put everything two and two together, and she's one of the only SPs that I've ever had where I didn't even have to try and there was movement. I'm talking, I don't text her, I don't follow her on social media, I don't strike up conversations with her. She has been the only one that has actually had the balls to really step out of the comfort zone, okay? Usually the way it works is like I'll have an inspired action where I'll just, you know, say a little joke with one of the SPs because it just felt right, and it actually will be successful. Next thing you know, we're flirting. Next thing you know, we're fucking, right? But with her, she makes it so easy because I don't even have to try. I go on break and she's asking personal questions about me, and apparently she knows where I put my gum. You know, apparently she knows things about me. She knew that I was 30 years old without even fucking asking. And you're probably gonna say, well, duh, she knew because her friend told her. But again, I have a fucking manager who I've been with for years, who the other day they asked her how old I was, and she's like, "Aren't you like 26? She's known me for way fucking longer than my SP. But why? Because I put myself on the fucking pedestal. And that's what you have to do too, okay? Put yourself on the pedestal. Imagine a 5-second imaginal act of your first person perspective of what it would be like, whether you're having a conversation with your friend telling you, "I cannot believe you bagged Sarah," or imagine that you guys are fucking and it's your favorite position that is second nature to you, and it's a 5-second clip, and repeat that over and over again until you have your subconscious impressed. I don't have to tell you how it feels like when you have your subconscious impressed. You will just know, just the same way that you know when you're horny, the same way that you will know. You'll get it. Or you can do affirmations like the ones that I said, right? No matter how difficult the circumstances are. Remember, this is a girl who knew I'm a player. I can't tell you how many times a girl rejected me, not because I was ugly, but because she was like, "Oh, you're talking to 50 other girls. I don't want to compete." But with her, she doesn't give a fuck, okay? And the only thing that is in the way is my current girlfriend, who I'm not going to risk anything to ruin that, right? But the point is, it's very clear to me that I probably could do something if I was single, right? So basically, I manifested that SP as well, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions about an SP. I think I'm going to start leaving my email in the description boxes if you guys have any questions. Right now I'm doing free consultations, and when I have more clients, I'll start charging based off of the value that I think I am providing. But until then, folks, I am Neil Lartos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say.